Dude, don't do it to another vet. Don't do it to me. I'm a retired Army guy. Let me help you. Don't make me do this. Let me help you, but not this way. Let me help. Please drop it, brother. We've lost too many already. I know you're hurting, man. I was too. But I went about 4 months ago. So let me help you, please. I can't do that, man. I can't do that. Christ, brother, don't do it. Don't do it.
Then shoot me.
No, don't do it. I was in your shoes a few months ago, brother. It took everything in my body. Man, I'm 6'5", 300-pound paratrooper. Took everything in my world to call VA and to finally get the help. And I got the help. But I want to help you, man, because I'm tired of losing brothers and sisters. But I can't help you if you don't help me. Okay? The Lord sent me here to you today. He didn't send one of these other guys. He sent me as a vet to you to help you because I'm there. I've been there. Just drop it. Just drop it. Okay, put your hands on your head for me. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to get you some help. We're going to start right now. I'm going to get you over here to Parkview and we're going to get you taken care of, okay? Love you, bro. Good job, man.
Jesus, this video was incredible. Sorry, I had to take a moment there because Jesus, that hits home, and that officer was incredible. And thanks to Oshima0070 for posting that. I would have stitched it, but what I had to say was longer than that, and this officer was incredible. And I have personal experience, both in my job, the VA, of reading the stories of the mental health crisis and reading or hearing the phone calls that would come in and whatnot of veterans. And believe me, the VA is wonderful. If you need help, go to the VA. They will help you. I know there's some VAs that are better than others, and I'm very fortunate that my VA is amazing here in Boise, but they will help, and there's a lot of us that care. And a lot of us have personal experience. We are a product of these wars, Afghanistan and Iraq. I mean, for 20 years, we sent men and women overseas to fight. That's twice as long as the Vietnam War. A large portion of those soldiers came back broken mentally or physically, sometimes both, sometimes in a devastating manner. Some of them came back in coffins to devastated family members. But those that did survive, many of them came back to night terrors due to what they saw and did. Some of them are triggered in PTSD by seemingly innocent sounds out of nowhere. And often you don't know the sound will trigger until it happens. And then you have an anxiety attack. If you're lucky, it's a mild one. You just get a bit of a heart palpitation going and breathing heavy and just need to take a step back. Other times it's devastating. Came back to chronic conditions due to burn pits. I'm a product of that. I have sleep apnea, which largely came because I lived about 2 football fields from an enormous burn pit for over a year. Some came back missing limbs. And while I talk about the Vietnam War, yes, that was a far more devastating war. We've gotten better at our medical care, better at our ability to fight wars so that we're not losing as much, but there still was a devastating effect. These soldiers came back, and Marines and sailors and airmen came back to broken homes, cheating spouses, sometimes financial ruin, sometimes having lost their children to broken homes. And as we come up to Veterans Day, and it wasn't really my intent, I just happened to come across this video to do like a Veterans Day post, and I might do one some more, but after the Vietnam War, the U.S. thankfully collectively said, never again, never would we treat our veterans that way again. And unfortunately, as the generations change, those Vietnam veterans are sadly dying off. And the memory of that promise fades away. I mean, I remember for 10 years after 9/11, it was like, man, veterans were revered. Anything they needed, and thankfully they got what they needed because Vietnam veterans fought for decades for benefits that they were rightfully owed. But 20 years again of warfare has created a veteran mental health crisis as well as a physical health crisis. And we know that they exist. We know burn pits were a problem. We know that veteran suicide is a problem. So much of a problem that most veterans know someone. I personally have experience. A former platoon sergeant of mine, he was a friend of mine, killed himself a few years ago. I was not in command. We had both moved to different places in our careers after working together, but I found out through a series of friends that he had killed himself. I lost someone I really respected, a drill sergeant. It was my favorite drill sergeant in Afghanistan. I found out over social media that he died. I don't like to talk about my personal service, but yeah, you just see things when you're running gun trucks and whatnot. So anyways, we know that there's this crisis. We know what's going on. And I'm not going to go politically on this at all. I just ask that for those veterans out there, please reach out. And it's amazing that we have fellow veterans like this officer helping clearly a vet in distress mentally, helping him out, getting him what he needs. We have the VA, but it's really sad that that's what it takes, that it's another veteran that does it. And the cop says it. He said they could have sent a non-veteran. And he said that he knows that the situation would have been handled differently. And that's the problem, is we have a civilian populace that, God bless them, didn't have to fight. And I'm thankful they didn't, but they don't understand. But I'm asking you, those of you that are not veterans, you need to believe that veterans, whether they are explicit about it or not, are suffering in some way or dealing with their own set of demons, and many of them go about their day living normal lives without issue, and many don't. But please, as we have transitioned from these wars, the new battles are coming, such as this, soldier suicide, physical ailments that are going to rear their ugly heads from burn pits. And just please keep these things to the forefront when you're voting. Please understand who is supporting veterans and who is not. Please make that something that you care about. And I get it. There's dozens of issues right now that are an issue right now. Dozens of issues that are an issue right now. That's a good sentence. There are dozens of issues that come to the forefront. Economics, immigration. But unfortunately, this veteran problem is a problem we created over years, and I hope we find a solution, because these videos are just going to keep coming, and it's really sad, but also really hopeful that potentially there are people out there that can get them the help.